I'm Hallie Jackson in Washington, and we are coming on the air with breaking news. President Trump just putting out a new video online, the first public message he's put out since announcing the start of those strikes on Iran. It's about 6 minutes long. We're going to play the whole thing. Let's listen.
Over the past 36 hours, the United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury, one of the largest, most complex, most overwhelming military offensives the world has ever seen. Nobody's seen anything like it. We have hit hundreds of targets in Iran, including Revolutionary Guard facilities, Iranian air defense systems. Just now it was announced that we knocked out 9 ships plus their naval building, all in a matter of literally minutes. Iran's formerly supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead. This wretched and vile man had the blood of hundreds and even thousands of Americans on his hands and was responsible for the slaughter of countless thousands of innocent people all across many countries. Last night, all over Iran, the voices of the Iranian people could be heard cheering and celebrating in the streets when his death was announced. The entire military command is gone as well, and many of them want to surrender into saving their lives. They want immunity. They're calling by the thousands. Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved. We have very strong objectives. They could have done something 2 weeks ago, but they just couldn't get there. Earlier today, CENTCOM shared the news that 3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, even as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen. And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more, but we'll do everything possible where that won't be the case. But America will avenge their deaths and deliver the most punishing blow to the terrorists who have waged war against basically civilization. They have waged war against civilization itself. Our resolve, and likewise that of Israel, has never been stronger. America is now, again, the richest, most powerful nation in the world by far. But the only reason we enjoy the quality of life that we do and the freedom and security is we have done things that others are unable to do. But it's because of warriors who are willing to lay down their lives to do battle with our enemies. And they do battle better than anybody. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be a dire threat to every American. We cannot allow a nation that raises terrorist armies to possess such weapons that would allow them to extort the world to their evil will. Not going to let it happen. We're not happening to us, and we're not going to let it happen to others. The United States has the strongest military the world has ever seen. I rebuilt our military in my first term. There's never been a military like we possess. And frankly, there's nobody even close, but we are now using that military for good. We want to have it for good purpose. We're undertaking this massive operation not merely to ensure security for our own time and place, but for our children and their children, just as our ancestors have done for us many, many years ago. This is the duty and the burden of a free people. These actions are right, and they are necessary to ensure that Americans will never have to face a radical, bloodthirsty terrorist regime armed with nuclear weapons and lots of threats. For almost 50 years, these wicked extremists have been attacking the United States while chanting the slogan, "Death to America" or "Death to Israel," or both. They are the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. We are the world's greatest and most powerful nation, so we can do something about what they do. These intolerable threats will not continue any longer. I once again urge the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military, and police to lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death. It will be certain death. Won't be pretty. I call upon all Iranian patriots who yearn for freedom to seize this moment, to be brave, be bold, be heroic, and take back your country. America is with you. I made a promise to you, and I fulfilled that promise. The rest will be up to you, but we'll be there to help. Thank you. God bless you to our incredible warriors, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
President Trump there speaking in a video that he then posted online to his social media account. He just a couple of seconds ago got on his plane, got on Air Force One. He is heading from South Florida to Washington as we speak. I want to bring in our senior White House correspondent, Gabe Gutierrez, who is joining us, who's been watching it along with us and setting aside what you could call the tactics of this, Gabe. This is obviously different from an address to the nation. It is addressing the nation, of course, as the president appears. It is entirely possible he takes questions while he's on Air Force One heading back to D.C., or perhaps when he lands. We don't know. What is clear is that he is taking this moment to do a couple of things, including, Gabe, prepare the nation for the possibility of more U.S. casualties to come.
That's right, Hallie. Did a couple of things with that address. One, selling the operation to the American people, but also bracing the American public for the possibilities of more casualties down the line. And what you said is true. He is breaking precedent from previous presidents in such a historic moment such as this, choosing to shoot his own video and post it on his own social media platform away from the press pool and not allowing any reporters to ask questions while he is shooting that video. Now, again, it's entirely possible that he could take questions aboard Air Force One, and he had been speaking by phone with various reporters from other outlets, including NBC News, throughout the day yesterday and today. I want to get to a couple of things he said in that speech. First of all, he talked about selling the operation to the American people. He spoke many broad themes there, saying that Iran was a #1 state sponsor of terrorism, and essentially saying it was the duty of the United States, the duty and burden of a free people to get involved here and to take out the regime. He called it a righteous mission. But also, Hallie, and this is significant, this is the first public comments besides those one-on-one conversation with reporters that the president made following the announcement that American service members had been killed in this operation. He said that, sadly, there will likely be more. He also said that that is the way it is. And again, saying that there will likely be more, although the U.S. would try to minimize that. But certainly, Hallie, this is something that the administration is trying to get across to the American public, that these deaths of the American military, while they are painful, while no one wants to see them, that they will be worthwhile because of the overall goals of this mission. Now, certainly, Hallie, this all comes as there's been mounting backlash from Democrats on Capitol Hill who are trying to force that vote of a war powers resolution this week. Democrats trying to make the case that this was a war of choice, while Republicans are, virtually all of them, are still standing by the president. We're also learning, according to a White House official and a congressional official, that top members of the Trump administration, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, will brief the House and the Senate in classified briefings on Tuesday. So certainly this is all unfolding, but again, we are hearing from the president in that video posted to his Truth Social platform just a short time ago. He's expected back here at the White House in a few hours.
Gabe, one other thing the president also did in this set of remarks that we just played here, the administration, the president has alluded to the decimation of Iranian leadership. Obviously, the Ayatollah killed in this attack, these series of attacks on Iran as well. And he suggested, the president did, that many in the military chain of command want to surrender, essentially, to save their lives. And this is something that he touched on a couple of times in those remarks there, and is one of the dynamics that our teams overseas are watching, too.
Yeah, certainly. And look, the president in his conversations with reporters today saying that dozens of Iranian military leaders have been killed. And also, according to our colleague Dan DeLuce, according to officials briefed on the matter, this was a specific choice. The intelligence for why this strike took place the way it did is that American intelligence had realized that the supreme leader would be meeting with other top leaders in Iran on Saturday, and that was why the American military made the choice to attack during daylight hours. Highly unusual, but that was a calculated move because they realized that they had this opportunity. Now, in terms of opportunity, Hallie, that is something that's going to be that debate is going to play out over the next couple of days. Earlier today, for example, Senator Ted Cruz, in an interview in another network, said that he encouraged the president to go ahead with this when he spoke with the president on Friday because the Iranian regime was at one of its weakest points. That is slightly different than the argument some other members of the administration had made, trying to argue that the urgency for this attack was because Iran was closer to getting either a nuclear weapon or long-range ballistic missile. So look for the administration this week to try and square that circle that, one, this was needed to be done because of the status of the Iranian regime, but also the urgency was because they were closer to getting a long-range ballistic missile. In any case, that issue of opportunity, when the United States decided to strike, that will certainly be a question that comes up, especially from Democrats, over the coming days.
Gabe Gutierrez live for us on the White House North Lawn. Again, President Trump making his way back from South Florida to Washington. He is set to land back in the D.C. area in just a little bit. Gabe, thank you very much for that. And with that, we'll conclude this breaking news report right here on NBC News Now. Much more coverage online at NBCnews.com. And I'll see you later on tonight for Nightly News. For now, we'll let you get back to your regularly scheduled programming. See you soon.